What's up, everyone? I'm back. We're live streaming. We're trading. We'll see what in the world's going to happen in this market. We do have a little small gap fill possibility right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let this load real fast. There's an area right here, 552-ish on QQQ. It's about $1 drop. Where we can look to try to fill this gap. It's going to be right here, 552. So if anything, I wanted to take the short, but I have some support right here. So I'm going to wait just a bit before I do so. But I do think if we can come down here and fill that gap, that's where I will take a long shot. If we hold up here, be looking for a little bit higher. But I do see that possibility. How's everyone doing? Welcome in. Let's get the chat fired up this morning. Let me get some music going here. Need some little lo-fi, little background. There we go. Perfect. Okay, let's take a look at what we've got going on here. In Q, right around that 885 is where I would try along. Interesting. Okay. Let me see what this looks like. I've got my news walker going. I've got everything. I'm back at home base. So we're Bob, thanks for tuning in, Bob. Let's see what's going on. Bob, I miss being here too. I love streaming and live trading on here, looking at some stuff. So we do have a small enough gap on SPY that we should fill it. We just filled SPY's gap right there, actually. QQQ. A little bit lower. Let's. I'm gonna wait for it. I'm gonna wait for that gap to fill. Let me go down to the 5-minute chart. We'll see the gap here in just a second. This area right here is where it's gonna be at. Right here. I'm not gonna trade down to it, but I am gonna look to dip by it. Gambling Bear, what's up, my friend? This is a decent spot too, though. All right, so this gap should be filled. I want to see what QQQ. Let's go to QQQ. I've been looking at this oil short as well. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not going to touch it until this gap fills down here. I do have support right here at this. There's from 885 to 900. I have a zone here. I really want this gap to fill before I do anything right here. And if it comes up here and reclaims, then oh well. Pretty quiet. Ooh, what is breakout doing? Nothing going on here. Andre, what's up? Andre, if you want to hop on and chill and trade, we can roll it up. Let me I don't want to touch it until this gap fills. I'm just waiting to see if we fill this right here first. Look at the man Andre himself hanging out in the chat. All right, I'm waiting on this gap to fill to see what happens. We look at SPY, the overnight gap already filled, but we do have this area down here, 620, would be very interesting. like it's gonna bounce without us. I've really been eyeing this oil short. Look at that, it hit my level up here. Right there, it hit my level. That's where I wanted to short it. I like oil short. B plus, what's up? We got a bunch of the crew sliding in here this morning. Boy, right off that pivot point, straight back into VWAP. I can't do anything right here. I mean, my buy zone was, but we have that gap, and I would just, because it's a high probability, I'm just going to stay out of trouble until this gap fills. Or if it doesn't, I'll need some type of like reclaim type of move. Hope you're doing well, B plus though. Thanks for stopping by the stream. What are you guys trading? I just know that 73% probability that this gap fills on QQQ. I almost want to short and try it. But I just know I have so much support here that I would rather just wait for it to play out and then look and see. I mean, the ideal scenario, if we wick down here and then get back up here in the next half hour or more, that's going to look super, super strong. We do have this unfilled gap from Thursday to yesterday. And we also yesterday, so it's weird. We gapped up here and didn't fill it, and then the next day we gapped down and filled the previous day one. So do we go fill this one first? Ooh, Amazon puts. I'm long Amazon. Prime Day this week. I'm long Amazon. I'm looking for this up here. Like I mean, I see. I mean, yeah, I see it either way. Obviously, it's multiple rejections here, but I'm looking for this 225 area right here. Honestly, up here, and then I really would like to see this up here, mid 230s. But also, I get the argument we're a little overextended. Market's broadening out. Yeah, mine are for next week. I just, with Prime, actually, I think I have some for Friday and some for next week on Amazon. But with Prime going on right now, Prime Week or whatever, I just feel like it's a bullish like catalyst, and there's probably sell the news after. So I don't know. I'm hoping it gets a little pop. I'm hoping. I'm kind of looking at the market saying, okay, maybe we get one more leg up here. Broadcom, I'm just looking to see if we can get another extension here. NVIDIA, I want to see that 160 again. But it's a tough spot in the market. We were talking about this morning. We're in a really tough spot when it comes to the market. If you look at the big picture here, let me get QQQ. I mean, look, your 20-day is all the way down here. Where's your EMA 9? Yeah, EMA 9 still all the way down here. Yeah, that's probably that 9 EMA. Probably come back there. Yes, looks good. Hmm. Japan's trade negotiator just had a call with Besant. Is on the wire right now. So there's your news. Guys, if you're rolling into the stream, I'm looking. We have this gap right here. You see this kind of area right here? We still have this gap unfilled that I don't want to touch yet. US and Japan agree to continue talks on tariffs. Okay, so this one is very interesting. Tesla. Tesla is a incredibly tough one to trade right now, and I'll tell you why. So, honestly, I think Tesla still probably goes higher. I mean, you look at this area right here that it came back down to and held again. The problem with Tesla, anytime you get like a huge like news type of gap down stuff, the the overreaction is always bigger than the kind of correction piece. Plus the volatility, so your IV on all those puts they're gonna just be super high. That's I don't know. I thought about buying Tesla long yesterday, but at the end of the day, but it's just because that IV is so juiced, it's a tough call. All right, I'm watching this 5-minute chart here. What is it? Let's take a look at Tesla's first. Tesla's a tough one. If it gets over 300, it should just start pushing 306, 310. Let's look at these 5-minute charts though. NVIDIA engulfed. That's kind of what I was looking at here. Let me get my 15-minute chart. Let this gap fill, and then I'll try it. That gap fill is going to be like a little bit lower, like down here, like 880s, 881. Let's see. 883. Really, it's 880s, the same spot as yesterday where I was long. But we're holding in kind of strong here. I don't like all these upper wicks yet, but this looks like it went higher. ES already engulfed. You see what SPY looks like. All right, over the 622 SPY, I really like it back to 624, 625. And that's such a tough call because you guys know I love shorting more than anything. Plus, we're so extended. It's, boy, everything's a tough call right now. I feel like at some point we will back test this previous all-time high down here on QQQ. Where's it at on SPY? 613, right there. Hey, look at this. 3 hits on the pivot. I use pivot points, right? 3 hits on the pivot point. This just looks like one's higher. See what else is moving, team. What are you guys watching, trading anything else? Banks are slightly red. JP Morgan down. Oracle. Nice day on Oracle. Coin down a little bit. Bitcoin's hanging out at that 109, that kind of previous all-time high area. All right, we're playing a little waiting game here, testing the patience. 5 minutes still stuck under the 9 and VWAP on NQ. Sorry, Scotty, if I'm muted, I'll try to talk a little bit louder and more clear here. We're about to get that 30-minute orb. Really, the ideal scenario, we get back up here, which ES is kind of doing it. NQ is lagging a little bit, but I don't like how many candles it's taking inside of this opening candle. So this opening candle here, I don't like how many candles it's taking to try to get back up there. But ES, on the other hand, ES looks really strong. But yesterday it's kind of the opposite divergence. ES was super weak and NQ was strong. Now we got kind of the opposite going on again. But we did fill the gap. Where's SPX? All right. Okay. Take a look at these orbs. I use 30-minute orb. I know a lot of people. Like, use different 15, 30-minute. I use the 30-minute. Double breaks the most common. Breakouts obviously second most common. Not a whole lot that I take away from the orb. I use the orb levels to trade off of. The stats have been pretty. They've been pretty standard. Let's see if Tuesday's any outlier. A lot of double breaks on Tuesday. Oh, Tuesday's actually the highest double break. Interesting. So if we do come down and break the low, we still could have a double break day. It's kind of interesting. I'm way more inclined to trade the. Look at that. Maybe we are going to fill this gap on QQQ. I'm much more inclined to trade the IB. The IB stats have been so strong the last, year at this point that I've been watching them, but especially the last 6 to 9 months, IB stats are just so strong that that's what I've been trading. IWM making new highs while the tech pulls back here. Amazon's getting slappied. There we go. I'm about to start looking long here. Right there, boom. Gap filled. All right, I'm getting long. All right, I'm long the gap fill in QQQ here. There we go. All right, let's see if it works. We take a first trim at 900 for take a first trim at 900, 20-point gain. If we get there, 903, 905 area. Where's VWAP? 914. Right. The only thing that I don't love, there's of course I have an NFP level right here. The only thing I don't love is SPY has this kind of overnight gap it could still fill here. But I'm long in Q either way. We'll see what happens. I wanted to wait for the gap fill before I tried it. This is that same area. We'll see what happens here. We got the NQ stats over here. Gap filled. I based most everything off of QQQ. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, well, let's see what happens here. Patiently waited for the gap fill. We're playing along. We'll see if we can get back up into this area. Doesn't work, it doesn't work. We take the next trade. I can still see SPY coming down a little bit further down to here. These auto fibs from yesterday are sitting right there where that low was made, though. Let's see if my sniper rifle's working. I watched the 30-minute orb a little bit. I watched the IB a little bit closer. So the IB is the initial bounces first 60 minutes. You can see here's the 30-minute orb I have on these two charts on ES and NQ. But I use the IB. No, so we filled the gap. We filled this gap right here. That's why I'm long here. So you see where this candle highlighted? That's the gap fill. That's what I was waiting on. We filled this overnight gap. We also filled where we closed yesterday. Right there on QQQ. This is where SPY needs to hold right here. Oh, I need to extend this because I'm giving it a little bit more room. All right. Other thing I'm not super excited about is the first hour so far, very red. We also have high form first, low form second right now. We'll see what happens. That's next 20 minutes for that IB. Yeah, Scotty, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm just trying to do some live trading here. I rely heavily on a bunch of Edgeful's data, so I look at some of the orb stats. I'll show you if you stick around here when we get that first hour. These initial balance, the IB. There's some very strong stats there. There's some very strong stats on the first hour of the market. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. But we'll see. The current play I have was long this gap fill, 620, kind of a psychological level on SPY. We'll see. If it holds, it holds. If it doesn't, we take the next trade. Not the most convincing price action right here. See, I could have, so back here on QQQ, I could have got short here and played this gap fill down. In this case, I was like, okay, I didn't want to get super scalpy, and ES was looking a little different, so I held off. But now at this build, I'm looking for the bounce play here. We get back into these pre-market levels. I'll take some trims. Final trims up here. The video is strong right now. We'll see. See what happens here. SPY, I have no trades on in SPY. Actually, I do have a couple options. I think that I took yesterday, just some upside calls. But today, so I'm trading QQ. I'm trading NQ. I have ES pulled up as well if I want to trade it, but I'm trading mostly NQ. And ES is the future version, futures of SPY, the S&P, NASDAQ. This is basically like your QQQ, your NDX, whatever. Trade's not looking too well at the moment here, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if it's able to hold in. want to see. I probably could long. Probably long ES down here as well, but I don't want to be long, like double long. NVIDIA is still holding up very well. But is anything else holding up well? Let's see. Netflix. Ooh, Amazon's getting smoked. B plus. Your Amazon is absolutely crushing it, brother. Kind of going through my watch list here. Some of these big tech names don't look too strong other than NVIDIA. All right, let's see what happens. This 15-minute candle closes. Kind of have a little doji if it can close green. Turn back around. We'll see. But this is not getting the buy reaction I want. I'm right here around break even. Feels like we're going to get news here any second. The gap's filled. I can kind of turn that off if I want. What happened to my music? Yeah, this thing's struggling to get off its back here. Boy, I'm super tempted to cut this trade. My risk is set. There's the 15-minute close. Give it another little bit here. It's not a bad candle. If this next candle pushes back up to 900, we're good. Should probably trim into this. Come on, market, turn it around. Bit weird for some of you to hear me sit here and like yell dump, dump, dump. All right, we're looking okay. Spidey sense. Yeah. So, I'll tell you what's really interesting is Trump almost does the obvious thing, even though he acts like he's not going to do. Like people get nervous over it. Like this guy does the obvious thing. Come on, let's get back to 900 here. I really want to get a trim on this. This is not looking good, honestly. In the overall picture here, our first hour is going to be red. Our IB is gonna suggest break the low first. So like when I look at this and I see, okay, high form first, low form second, opened here, first hour looks like it's going to be red. So that means we're probably going to come down here. We'll see what happens. We got 15 minutes or so to get basically back up here. But the odds are not going to be in our favor if the first hour plays out like this. Let's see what is Spies is probably just as bad. Yeah. High form first, low form second. So the first hour, the high forms first, then the low form second. The probabilities that you break that low are much, much, much higher. We'll take a look at all that once we get the confirmation of the first hour here. About 12 minutes. We'll look through all of that. Yeah, this looks like it's going to reject and go lower. It just does. But nothing's changed about the level here. Microsoft made a new low. There's an bearish engulfing on NVIDIA. Broadcom looks rough. A lot of things not looking too good right here. Netflix new low day. Boy, Walmart's getting crushed. Just need some good news. We need some good news to come out. Yeah, if I just reprice action, this thing looks like it wants lower. I mean, immediate rejection, EMA 9. Looks like we want to go lower, but we'll see. Bookmap, up at 2,300, I see. And the main liquidity I see is above us. I don't know. We'll see. may need one more leg lower, and then you look at the long if it reclaims or engulfs, or if it. I mean, if it if it fells down here in this area, it's going back down to yesterday's low most likely. Yeah, gambling bear, great thought here. Not really doing anything. Oh, I'm hanging out in the trade. 7 minutes, we'll get some more data. So far, everything's looking bearish. Honestly, I don't think it's going to change in the next 7 minutes. So preemptively, I should probably think about getting out of this trade. Yes, a 60 level, maybe. I think this is going lower. I think we're going lower. I believe Trump is scheduled to speak. Yeah, if we go much lower here, yeah, I think we're gonna go lower. We'll see. Can somebody confirm if you're in the chat? Somebody confirm what time Trump's speaking today? We're right around my. Oh, my stop is actually down under 40. It's actually right there. Yeah, this is not looking good across the board right now. And we're about to get the first hour, so really I should probably cut this trade, wait for the first hour to play out, and then reassess. Yeah. Yeah, price action did not look good. So my trade idea really hasn't played out, so I really need to kind of get out of this. Internals are actually very strong. There we go. The cabinet meeting is at 11 Eastern market time. The only reason why I'm holding this is this right here. Okay, so look, we're still here. We get back green on the day. That's our first hour of data. All right, so let's take a look at this first hour of data. See if this updates here real fast. Initial balance, we should get a single break. That's been happening 86% of the time. By rejection, so this is going to say the high formed first. So what's going to happen is we have a 62% chance of breaking the low. If it's the other way around, it's super bullish. All right, we're still in it. Look, we held. All right, here we go. We're still in it. That was not a comfortable hold, but here we are. All right, well, it took a while, but there's my first trim. all of that for 20 points, 30 points of drawdown to get 20 points here, but we're green. We're moving up. All right, well, woo, that was uncomfortable, but here we are. Look what we held. Wasn't a fun down wick here, but we held. Man, look at this. No, statistically, we don't have strong probabilities going really far here, so I am gonna like aggressively start trimming. Woo! That was a little crazy. That's so crazy. Statistically, I mean, I had like one of my playbook trades. Statistically, some of these other things are not really in my favor. So I am taking that into major account here as we get to 30, 40 points. Holy AMD Ripper. All right, I'm taking off half right here. It's about 40 points from my entry. Yeah, oof. Sometimes you just gotta have a little faith, you know? What a candle. Well, Bobby, you know, I like to joke around. So, you know, I was clenched hard down there. But if you have good risk management, I mean, if I take a 30, whatever that would have been, 34, 40 point loss, like that's okay. Like I can handle that. I can take 3 or 4 losses with my sizing. I can take three, you know, probably 3 losses like that in a row and still be okay. I don't want to, obviously, but now what will completely change everything if we break this, if the IV breaks to the upside, that's going to change a lot of our statistics over here. So, so what I'm looking at here, by rejection, we should break the low, but if we break over right here, then I have to just price action tell me bullish. But what I want to pull up right here is this: if we break the high, the IB first hour of the market. If I can get it to load here, I've got too many programs running on my system. So here's QQQ. Double break is in a quarter of the time. So for us to break the high, so if we go break, like let me go to QQQ for the example. If we this, the odds that we come back down here are less than 25%. So I want to stay on that. But since we formed the high first and the low second, there's odds this way. So what that tells me is we have a high chance of this today. When these data points start arguing with each other, it's not fun. Also, the first hour of the market, so we opened the market here. First hour of the market closed here. That's a red. Let me pull up that if you're on Edgeful. Power opening candle continuation. Sorry, I was double checking. Boom. All right. I'm going to send my target up to here. Sorry, I was adjusting my trade here a little bit. All right, so my thought on this right here, there's 74% chance that we have a red day based on that opening hour of price action as well, which means there's a decently strong that we're going to close down here. Now, in the overall picture of things, once again, guys, we're in a full-on breakout, right? We had consolidation for all this time period. We're breaking out of that, so like every little dip's probably going to get bought for a little bit longer. We'll see. It needs to pull back. I agree, but at the same time, I mean, you trade in this range for 40 something days, 29, 30 trading days. You break out, and you're probably going to do this for a little bit, and then you come back down. That's just my basic structure. ES, the first hour stats, 70% that we have a red day today. So that's closing below where we opened. So on ES, for example, if you trade ES, we opened here. We should trade down here. Boy, what a candle. Look at this candle. Oh my gosh. What a candle. All right, orb high, IB high here. I'm going to go ahead 60 points from where I got in. I'm going to take off another little trim here, go down to a quarter. I didn't, not going to lie and say I expected this big of a reaction. I was getting a little pessimistic on the longs down there. But here we are. Whew. All right, team. Right at 60 points. So ooh, Tesla, there it goes. B plus, or no, who is it? Was it B plus? Were you looking at Tesla? You had Amazon, no. Somebody on here was looking at Tesla earlier. Who was talking about Tesla? Oh, my comments are disappearing here. We had a great chat about Tesla earlier, and I can't find it. All right, so the problem is here, guys. We didn't break that high yet. And like I said, we have several strong statistics that we should be red today. So we need to take that into account. This could get completely rocked. My stop, by the way, I moved all the way up here to, where's the pivot point? Right there, 893. Really, I don't want it back under 900, but I'll go 890 on my stop for now. I forgot I can throw the chat up there on the stream for you guys to see. All right, so guys, I'm playing this very tight. Like I said, I was drawing it out a while ago. Very high chance of chop, but the thing, if we look at what's in play here, so like QQQ, this is already played out, so the bearish is out of the picture. We do have single break. Double break was the most common on Tuesday. Look at this. Oh. Coming down fast. Wait to see if we hit any news. Right. Some type of comment that tariffs will start on August 1st with no exceptions. No extension is what they're saying. Okay. Well, like I was just saying, all right, so a little tariff headline to stop people out, but we know that statistically, first hour says we should close red, or at least under here. At least close under here. Yeah, so Scotty, there are conflicting stats here. So what I'm saying is, one stat that I look at the initial balance switch here. Let me turn off all this other stuff. Let me hide the drawings. Nope, drawings. There we go. All right, so this indicator right here is just initial balance, first hour of the market. Here's the high, here's the low. The high formed first right here, the low formed second. That statistic says we usually break the low more times than not. So like 60-something% of the time, we're going to break this low. The other statistic is opening candle for the first hour. So from here, this was the end of the first hour right here where this closed. So we opened the first hour here, we closed here. That's a red first hour. That means we usually stay and close below where we opened at. Let me pull up the stats to go with that. So we'll do that. Amazon Prime spending down 14% in the first day of it's dropping hard right now. Okay, sorry, I had to get that out there. Okay, so let me reset here, Scott. I was just getting some Scotty. There's some news that was coming out there on Amazon. I wanted to hear. Not great. Okay, first hour. So this right here, opening candle continuation, 60 minutes. So first hour of the market. If that first hour is red, 74% of the time you stay red based on the session. If it's green, 80% of the time you're green. So strong statistics, strong probabilities here. So if I look at QQQ example, here's where we opened. Here's where the first hour closed. So we have a red first hour, which means we should close below this level today. 74% of the time we're going to close below this. So here or lower. So anywhere in this area is where we should close, or I mean, it could be even down here. But 74% of the time we should be under this. So anyways. All right, double checking some other stuff. So that's the first hour on that, though, Scotty. There are conflicting stats here, which to me, anytime you get statistics that are so like if two things are telling me this way, but then some other things are telling me like, so like what I'm seeing right now with where we're at is we have a first hour that's red, which means we should close here or lower. So there's a higher percentage that we do that. I also see this IB by retracement. So initial balance is the first hour of the market. In general, we break just one side, and then you'll see double break is just 24, basically 25% of the time. The other report that I look at is high rejection. So if we look at this, high formed first or low formed first. So you see this, the high formed first 60 minutes, high formed first, low formed second. What does that mean? That means 64, 65% of the time, the first break is going to be the low. So breaking this low is what has the most probability here. That's why I was trimming so aggressively up into here, because I knew the first hour is red, this is red, going down. Right, so that's the main two sets I'm looking at here. There's more that goes with it. And there's that playing out. Look at that. There's the statistic playing out. We just talked about this. High form first, low form second. You usually break the low. Obviously, I got stopped out of the runners while you. And then, so if I go back to what's in play, I can look at a few of these things. So the gap already filled, that was downside. I didn't play that, but I played after that filled. I played, okay, the bulls will step in here, but as it took time, so if I turn gap fill back on, I got long down here looking for this bounce. I got the bounce, but then you see all my other statistics were starting to be bearish. So bearish, this should update any second, say bearish as well, but this is what I was talking about. IB by rejection. The high form first, meaning the low is more likely to break. Boom. Opening candle continuation. Bearish. Bias bearish. Look, if I go to my screener. Look how much bearish I have on my screener today. Only Costco and Tesla were showing bullish out of the top 10 weighted stocks in the NASDAQ. That's opening candle. IB should get this updated any second, but almost all these are bearish. Previous day's range, we are still neutral. We do have some bearish, some bullish. It's kind of mixed. And of course, all of that. Yeah, so yeah, let me delete this off because obviously I'm not in that position anymore, but some nice profit out of that. Really the same spot that we kind of bounced off of yesterday. What does SPY look like, guys? You see this, Bobby? I love that. We're gonna add a bias summary at the top of the screener. So the screener right here, it's like, and I talked to Andre about this. I know he has a lot deeper thought of this, but yeah. So we have I wanted to see if there's a way, and Andre's a lot smarter with some of the stuff than I am, but to assign a score to some of this stuff, like how much bullish, how much bearish metrics do I have? Like if I go to like the futures one that I have built out here, you can see, so in QES was NASDAQ, S&P, IWM, this is the Dow. Like opening candle, we have 1, 2, 3 bearish here overall. IWM, I mean, that kind of explains some of it, but IWM doing that. The bullish thing kind of diverging. That's kind of market mechanics too. Your leaders go first and then things start spreading out. But boy, Amazon's getting smoked on this. Microsoft's new low. Tesla's over 300, by the way. Ooh, Walmart got smoked too. Google new low. A lot of things making new lows here of the day. Broadcom. Well, but yeah, so like I can look at these different things and see bullish or bearish, which we haven't get close to previous day high. I mean, if you look, previous day low is down here and previous day high is way up here. We haven't got near either one of those. Really on anything. Hey, there we go. What's up, Willie? Shout out to Willie here. Look at Willie. Willie C just passed an eval on that move lower thanks to that Edgeful stat. Not my first, but first in a while. Look, I was in the long, which is fine, but I knew the statistics. That's why as we started moving, did I want to go up here and like find this area? Yeah, absolutely. But when I saw that the statistics for the first hour were rough, the IB statistics were rough, and that's all that played. At least the IB part played out now. Now we got to look at the other side of this real fast. So let me just go to detailed view over here. Let me go back to NQ. All right, gap fill's done. Orb right here, initial balance. So we broke down. That's at 86% of the time on NQ as a breakdown. Just 13.33% is a double break. So what does that mean for us? Like on NQ, for example, that means, wrong button. Right. Oh, wrong button twice. Two wrong buttons. Okay, this is your high. This is your low. We broke this low. Breaking this high now is 13%. It's a very improbable thing. So do I want to trade for improbabilities? No, I don't want to trade against probabilities. That's why I was looking for this long down here on the gap fill, but I knew the way that first hour was setting up, I got to start taking profit. So look at that reaction on Broadcom. Interesting. Yeah, big congrats to Willie. Scotty, happy to answer any questions, and yeah, I appreciate it. School just got out. Yesterday was I have two young ones, so 4 and 2. School just got out for summer yesterday. So we have first day of summer breakdown here for my 4-year-old, and my 2-year-old's usually here. Well, when you get both of them in the same house, it gets a little wild. And Captain Chaos is about to go live. So yes, great point here. All right, we got Trump any minute. He's always late. This is going to be tough sledding for a little bit. So we have, as I was going through these IB by rejection, this played out 64% of the time. You break the low and the high forms first. That played out. IB by retracement. So this one is, let's go to this report. Now that we broke the retracement stuff. So look, break down. When you break down, you come back into the IB 69% of the time, the 25% level, and then the halfway level, 44, so just under half time. So what does that look like? We just use QQQ, it's the easiest one. We hide that. So we've already completed that basically at this point. So we broke down. Once we broke down, coming back to the 25% level, you see this is marked, these 3 levels on here. So this right here happens 69% of the time. So when you get this breakdown, a lot of times you can look for the long, at least back to here, which obviously we already played out both these stats. To me, I have a lot of mixed stats today. I want to stay out of trouble. It could be very choppy. I talked about this a little bit earlier. It could be very choppy in here. But that's telling me we should close under here. I had stats telling me we should break this. We did. All that's kind of played out. I mean, we gapped up overnight. We filled the gap. There's a few things that's going on here that I'm just like, what in the world do we do? And there's 2 things on this. Willie's making a point here. Willie, yeah, I love the stream. I love the opportunity to do the stream, by the way. And I'll say this just having the statistics tell me like the direction, like somewhat getting the directions like more than half the battle, right? So if you have statistics that can tell you what direction you should trade in for the highest probability, and then you put it with some of your other, like your TA, how you read price action, how you read, your candles, momentum, those different kind of things, key levels, whatever, if you use EMAs. So you add that in and you have some pretty nice, it gives you a huge edge in the market. That's why it's called Edgeful. I mean, you can ask Andre. It's exactly why it's called Edgeful. Try to get an edge in the market, right? Now, the other side of this, Willie, that I think is super underrated, not enough people are talking about, is like days like yesterday or days like today where when I have multiple things that tell me different things. So I have like bearish here that's already kind of played out. I'm still neutral here, some bearish here. But if I go to like my overall, so intraday today we have some bearish statistics, a lot of bearish statistics on that first hour that kind of should limit us from going much higher today. I also have a lot of these, like we broke the low. So like any of these say no breakout, I'm sorry, but breakdown, any of these say breakdown, yes. All of these already played out, but that means that the probability to go break the high now is much lower. It doesn't mean it can't happen. It just means it's much lower. So I don't want to fight that. So staying away from bad trades. Previous day's range. Look at how many mixed names I have here. I don't want to fight against a lot of these things. So, it is what it is, but that's where we're at. Doesn't make for fun trading sometimes, but yeah, that's where we're at. We're waiting on Trump right now. I love this reference, Bob. Moneyball type of metrics. Internals, guys, this is interesting as well. So Vol D, up volume versus down volume. If you look yesterday, this is for like New York Stock Exchange, NYSE. Everything was down the entire day. Today, just hide all this. Today, here's the 0 line. This is net buying. Even though the price action's been moving down, this is net buying. Vol DQ is the same thing. I'm sorry, fall DQ. There we go. Same thing for Nasdaq. Look at this, very strong day. There's a zero line right here. Very strong day. All right, so we have strong internals. I mean, compared to price action, internals are much stronger. Much stronger price action than internals and price action. Trump has not started yet, by the way. I'll keep you guys posted on that. Bull market winning out by the dip, I guess. We're doing nothing. Well, we're just doing nothing. IWM new high of day. I like to look at the 5 and 15-minute charts. 15-minute charts still pretty strong. I mean, let me turn my drawings and stuff back on here. I really like this fib bisession from Edgeful, which just automatically puts yesterday's New York range and draws fibs. Rejecting the golden retrace of yesterday. We're right in the midpoint of yesterday. All right, well, we made our money. Probably just hang out. these daily charts look like. Well, this is where the boring part 3 comes in. Netflix is at an interesting spot. Poor Google. Just can't do anything. Arkansas does have the best catfish by far. By far. And I'm just hanging out, looking around, seeing if anything's going on. I'm kind of waiting on Trump to get going here. We're coming into lunch here in about 45 minutes. We got our two solid opportunities. I caught one of them on the way up. The other one was on the way down. Actually, probably 3. So you could have shorted off the open for the gap fill. Could have got long down some supports. Yeah, I still don't see anything from Trump. Really? Yeah, I live in central Mexico, the main part of time. And I go back to Arkansas every once in a while to visit, see family, take care of some business and stuff. I just got back actually Saturday night. I was in Arkansas the last basically the last week and a half, and then yeah, Mississippi, not a bad place. It's right over there around the corner. Neighbors. People like to talk about Mississippi, but yeah, I've had great friends from Mississippi. I've been to some great places. Been to Oxford several times. Good time out in Oxford. I kind of see a couple different things here, by the way. I see lower highs, but I also kind of see this like W setup. Kind of have a W here. We're right around the pivot point, choppy spot. All right, now if you don't, Willie, you better be careful because I will start going in. I was being. Well, I'll be in your neck of the woods on Thursday morning. I'm supposed to land in Houston before the market even opens. Just waiting on Trump at this point. I don't really think there's going to be a whole lot of trading to do between now and then. God, Google it. Absolutely punished. There's your 30-minute orb on ES getting. If you really want to see this hold, it's a little bit lower on NQ. So this is inside of a day as you can get. Google's about to test the 200-day. That's interesting. Interesting. We are breaking down. Remember what I said? Bear stats. Bear stats, bull market pullback. It's tough, tough sledding in some of these times. And no Trump yet. Same spot on QQQ. I mean, what do you do with this, really? All right, guys, we're just kind of hanging out here, same spot. I mean, what do you say about this other than bull market breakout? Who knows where they catch up? I mean, how much shorting goes on up here? But I understand if you're trying to short, this this, this could easily turn into like a little flag, but it's still early. I don't know. Mostly bearish stats, some choppy, mostly bearish stats. Microsoft new lows. Boy, Google is just getting destroyed. I don't know what to do here. Like when I look at this and I see, okay, we're below the pivot point. We're down near the lows of yesterday. I mean, how aggressive are sellers going to be? This is one of those scenarios where like I want to see it get away from this area before I try to trade it. And I'll probably just try to trade it back to the middle. But it looks like it wants to go down. Trump hasn't even started yet. Yeah, for the most part, Scotty. I mean, look, bearish. I mean, just general direction. A lot of bearish here, a lot of breakdowns here. Previous day's range, some on the indices we haven't had anything. But Google, Netflix, Broadcom, Microsoft, and Apple all bearish. They all broke the lows. A couple that are still neutral in the middle. IBO rejection, this was bearish across the board. I mean, most things are telling you bearish. Yeah. CL is an interesting one. I have this big level around the 68. If CL gets over this previous day high, I think it's definitely got room up. Look at the daily on CL. So you basically have this gap fill right here, 68.5, that you could think about shorting, but this that's tough. That's a tough call. I was actually discussing this morning. This is a messy looking date, like not daily chart, but like intraday chart, just in general. You know, this is a part of it, Willie, as well. A lot of people going into Trump. All right, guys. Well, all right. It's initial balance refers to the first hour, and then you say breakout or breakdown, depending on which side it broke. Today we have breakdown, so we have initial balance breakdown. There it is on SPY. There it is on QQQ. All right, guys, that's my time for this morning. Not a whole lot of action where we're at in the market, but I caught one long. I know some of you caught the short. Like I said, there was a short right off the open opportunity that I waited to play out. Caught the long, got out of the long. You could have shorted based on all the statistics. That opening hour, that IB statistics very strong. Now we're just kind of, same support, same resistance. What do? Probably nothing. Wait and see what Trump says. I like what Willie was thinking there. Maybe you're de-risking now before Trump talks, and then people will chase it if he says something bullish, or you look for a dip buy. He just tends to pump the market more than anything, or at least it scares the market and they jump back on it. But that's all I've got for today, guys. Make sure you check out Edgeful. Here, I'll get you guys an affiliate link here. I need to make a post too. I'm glad I thought about this. We drop this in. Drop this in the chat. Try 7 days free right there. All right, dropped it in both chats there. If you want 7 days free, there you go. And yeah, that's going to be it, you know. I probably won't take another trade unless something just gets really excited. All right, guys, Trump slows it started. My time's up. We're bearish bias and a bullish breakout. What do? Take your shots short, maybe. Kind of not. Yeah, that's all I got to say, really. Honestly, try out Edgeful. I think I'm going to try to stream again tomorrow morning because I'm flying out Thursday. So I'm going to try to stream again tomorrow morning and get my 2 in for the week. And then I'm out Thursday and Friday. I'll be New York. And then we'll see next week. Tuesday and Thursday is kind of the normal, I guess, spot that I try to stream. But make sure you follow me on X. Follow the Wolf account, of course. Follow the Edgeful account. And we'll get as many streams as we can out there for you guys. But I appreciate everyone. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. Don't do anything dumb, guys. Look at this daily. I mean, breaking out like crazy. Little pullbacks in a breakout. I don't want to push the gas on this. I want to wait for something to tell me this is going to happen, and that's where I'll try it, or this is going to happen, something like that. Low volume summer, a lot of news. Tariffs are back on tap now. Big beautiful bills passed, and Middle East unrest is somewhat settled for now. So just keep that in mind, guys. Try out Edgeful indicators, of course. You didn't know. You see almost all these indicators. Not that one. This one, all of these different gap fills, initial balance breakout, previous day's range. You see me flashing those on the chart. I mean, the indicators are worth the price of admission alone, not to mention these crazy stats that just paid us this morning in a way. I know some of you got the short. I had the long. I got out of the long knowing the stats were against me. So you can look at things both ways, and now I'm staying out of trouble here. So, all right, guys.